Cinematic. What if I told you that everything you've learned about love is a lie? That all those years of trying to be good enough, attractive enough, successful enough to earn someone's affection were completely wasted. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You've been trained since childhood to treat love like a business transaction, and it's destroying your relationships. By the end of this video, you'll understand why you feel so exhausted in your relationships, and more importantly, how to break free from this trap. Let me ask you something personal. When did you first learn that love had conditions? Maybe you were a kid, and you noticed that hugs came more easily when you cleaned your room, when you brought home good grades, when you didn't make too much noise. Or maybe it was later in those early relationships when you discovered that keeping someone's attention required constant performance. Be funny enough, be interesting enough, be attractive enough. And somewhere along the way, a dangerous seed was planted. Love is something you earn. But here's what nobody tells you about this bargain. It's completely exhausting. You trade pieces of yourself for scraps of affection. You perform on a stage where the audience is never satisfied. And worst of all, you never feel truly seen because the real you is hiding behind the mask. When you build love on conditions, you create something that looks like love, sounds like love, might even feel like love for a while, but underneath, it's just a business deal. You give me security, I'll give you companionship. You stay attractive, I'll stay interested. You make me happy, I'll make you happy. And for a while, the bargain holds. The accounts balance. Everything looks fine from the outside. But here's the problem. Life doesn't respect your contract. You age, you change, circumstances shift. Maybe you lose your job, and suddenly the security you offered is gone. Maybe illness comes, and the strength or beauty that first attracted them fades. And in that moment when you can no longer meet the terms, the warmth you thought was love reveals itself as something else entirely. I've seen it countless times. Someone who's been faithful and devoted for decades suddenly realizes, I was useful, I was necessary, but was I ever truly loved? The pain of that recognition is like discovering you've been speaking to an empty room all along. Now, before you misunderstand mime, not saying relationships shouldn't involve giving. Of course they should, but there's a massive difference between two types of giving. Giving from fullness flows naturally. There's joy in it. No scorekeeping, no invisible strings attached. The act itself brings pleasure. Giving from emptiness comes from fear. You're trying to secure affection, prove your worth, keep someone from leaving. And people can feel those invisible strings. They sense the unspoken debt you're creating. You can feel this difference, can't you? When someone truly loves you, their generosity feels light. When someone needs you, their generosity feels heavy like a burden you didn't ask for. The tragedy. Most of us learned to give from emptiness as children. We learned that love was a reward for good behavior. So we spend our entire lives trying to be good enough to deserve love. But even when we meet all the conditions, there's still that nagging sense that if they saw who we really are beneath the performance, they'd walk away. Let me tell you about real love, the kind that doesn't rot into resentment. It's not a bargain. It's not a contract. It's not, I'll give you this if you give me that. Real love is freedom. It's the freedom to be exactly who you are, messy, imperfect, complicated, and still be cherished. Not because you've earned it, but simply because you exist. But here's the catch that nobody wants to hear. You cannot receive this kind of love until you give it to yourself first. We all want to believe the right person will come along and fill the emptiness inside us, that their love will heal our wounds and prove our worth. But a heart that's starving for love will always turn even its most generous gestures into transactions. It will give while secretly watching, measuring, waiting for the return. And that creates a pressure that genuine affection cannot survive. So how do you break this cycle? How do you stop being desperate for love? The answer is both simple and difficult. Make peace with yourself, not in some shallow self-help way, but in the deep sense of truly accepting your own being. Every part of it, the parts you're proud of and the parts you hide, the successes and the failures, all of it. Our entire culture tells you to constantly improve, to become something other than what you are. And implicit in that message is, who you are right now is not enough. But what if you are enough? What if you've always been enough? Not because you've achieved anything, but simply because you exist. Think about it. The sun rises on you every morning without checking your resume. The air fills your lungs without asking for payment. Life itself brought you into existence without demanding you prove your worth first. You were loved into existence before you could do a single thing to deserve it. When you really see this, when you let it sink in, something shifts. You realize you're not a beggar hoping for scraps. You're already part of the feast. You're already held, already loved, already whole. Here's the beautiful irony. The moment you stop needing love, you become capable of receiving it. The moment you stop chasing it, it finds you because you're no longer approaching people with an outstretched bowl, hoping they'll fill it. You're approaching them as someone who already has enough, someone who can give freely because giving doesn't diminish you, and people are drawn to that. It's rare to meet someone who isn't constantly taking, who isn't using the relationship to fill some bottomless need. So, if you want to love and be loved, stop trying to earn it. Stop performing. Stop contorting yourself into shapes you think others want. Instead, turn inward. Make peace with yourself not by fixing everything, but by accepting that nothing needs fixing. You're not a project. You're not broken. You're a living expression of life itself, and that's enough. It's always been enough. From that place, love becomes something you are, not something you chase. It flows from you naturally, like light from the sun. And when two people meet from this place of fullness, not needing each other to be complete, something magical happens. They're free to choose each other simply because they want to. That choice, made freely without need or desperation, is worth more than 1,000 desperate commitments. The love you've been searching for isn't out there waiting to be found. It's right here, in you, waiting to be recognized. Stop looking, stop performing, start being, and watch what happens. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content on building authentic relationships and finding inner peace. Drop a comment below. What S1 way you've been earning love instead of just being yourself? I'll see you in the next video.